So today we're going to talk about two singers who were told what they couldn't do, but were driven by this incredibly powerful vision of what they would do. I mean, they face staggering odds, but their stories really show us how a clear, compelling vision can literally rewrite reality.
Just let that sink in for a second. How on earth does a rapper in a genre that so many people label as profane become a messenger for something sacred? And how does a singer, who physically can't even clap, manage to bring the entire world to its feet in applause? These are the kinds of questions we're digging into.
And really, that's the core question here. What makes the impossible possible? Because it's not about magic, it's not some lucky break. It's about a very specific driving force that both of these incredible people harnessed to completely change the realities. So, let's start with our first story.
Okay, our first story is about a South Korean rapper named B.Y. And to really get his journey, you have to picture him trying to find his way through this thick, dense fog of cultural and religious prejudice. But right in the middle of that fog, his personal vision acted like this powerful lighthouse, just cutting through and guiding him.
You know, this wasn't some random criticism from strangers on the internet. This was a direct warning from his own pastor. In his community, rap was seen as satanic, just full of money, violence, and all this vulgar stuff. He was literally told to stop, facing this huge wall of opposition from the very place he was looking for guidance.
So how in the world did he get past that? Well, he did it by defining his purpose with just incredible clarity. He built this framework for himself, a vision, values, and mission statement. And his vision wasn't just, I want to be a famous rapper. No, it was super specific, to recite scripture from the Bible at a major awards show. His values were all about holiness and boldness, and his mission? To use the very genre of rap to glorify God. This whole thing became his compass.
And this is the moment that Lighthouse Beam just hit its mark dead on. He's at the Gon Chart Music Awards, one of the biggest stages in all of Korean music, and he lives out that vision he'd had since he was a kid. Instead of just a normal thank you speech, he recites the opening of the Gospel of John, making a dream he'd held since he was a teenager totally real.
And the results, well, they really do speak for themselves. He won the massive rap competition Show Me the Money. He won that Gon Chart Award. He even wrote a future news headline about himself in his diary that later actually came true. He lived by this powerful idea from Scripture, that faith is the proof of things you can't see yet. He basically acted as if his future vision was already his present reality.
Okay, now for our second story. And if B.Y.'s vision was that lighthouse cutting through the fog, then Lena Maria's is like a single point of starlight, this brilliant, resilient light shining in what so many people would just see as a vast darkness of limitations. So Lena Maria was born in Sweden back in 1968 with some pretty profound physical challenges. And the medical advice at the time was immediate and honestly stark. They said she would need constant care. The recommendation was to put her in an institution for her entire life, to basically shield her from a world they didn't think she could ever navigate.
But her parents, they made a completely different choice, a pivotal one. When they finally got to hold their daughter, they didn't see a disability. They saw her beautiful eyes and her smile. They just fell in love with their child, not with her diagnosis. So they rejected the doctor's advice, and they took her home. And that single decision laid the foundation for everything that was to come.
And just like B.Y., Lena developed this powerful vision for her own life. Her vision wasn't just to get by or to survive, it was to win, swimming gold medals, sing gospel music, and paint, all to glorify God. Her values were things like dignity and joy, and her mission? To testify to how precious all life is. You see, she defined herself by her vision, not by her limitations.
And testify, she absolutely did. At the World Para-Swimming Championships, this mermaid, as she came to be known, swimming with no arms, won 4 gold medals for Sweden. 4.
And that vision just took her so incredibly far. She's toured over 50 countries as a gospel singer. She uses her feet to do everything, to paint, to cook, to drive her own car. She even wrote and published a book, typing every single word with her toes. It's like the source material says, though she cannot clap for herself, she has made the entire world applaud.
So, what we have here is a rapper who defied prejudice and a singer who defied physical impossibility. Let's kind of bring their stories together now and look at that common thread, right? That shared source of their extraordinary strength.
When you look at them side by side, the parallels are just striking. One overcame cultural prejudice, the other, a physical disability. Both had this crystal clear vision to glorify God with their unique gifts. Both found incredible strength in their faith. And here's the crucial part. Both of them lived as if their vision was already real, refusing to let their present circumstances define them.
So the crucial point is this. It doesn't matter if the obstacle is an external judgment from the world, like prejudice, or if it's an internal reality of your body, like a disability. All of that stuff just shrinks in the face of a powerful, purpose-driven vision. Their stories prove that what you see for your future is way more powerful than what anyone else sees in your present.
Okay, so how do these stories from halfway around the world actually apply to us? Let's turn the focus from their vision to our own.
Now, this is a question that's really worth sitting with for a minute. BY was told rap is satanic. Lena was told she belonged in an institution. They totally rejected those definitions. So, you have to ask yourself, whose script are you following? The one that's written by your own clear, future vision, or the one that's been handed to you by the expectations and limitations of your current reality?
And that brings us to our final thought here. BY's weakness was his art form. Lena's was her body, and they both transformed that perceived weakness into their greatest strength. So the question for all of us is, what's the thing that we see as our biggest limitation? Is it just possible that, with the right vision, that very thing could become the thing that makes our story unforgettable?